change, the more they stay the same. For example, our MX2 Championship leader Jeffrey Herlings have approached this year in a more mature manner. But his unfortunate crashes in Germany and Sweden mean that, like last year, he's now watching a comfortable championship lead slip away.
Jeffrey Herlings goes down!
Another example is here in Latvia, where last year Team France romped to the overall win at the Motocross of Nations, with Stephen Frossard anchoring the team home on his Monster Energy Kawasaki. This year he moves to KTM, but in a surprising turn of events, he finds himself back in Latvia on board a Monster Energy Kawasaki. Who would have thought it? We're going to be talking to the two teams involved in these situations. Wilvo Fork Rent KTM, Frossard's home until the last GP, and Bull KTM, who've lived through all the ups and downs with Jeffrey Herlings these past 18 months. It's going to be a corker of a show. Welcome to the MXGP of Latvia. We're going to start the programme today with a tale of the biggest MX2 team in the paddock, who have had a rough time of it recently with all three riders, now that David Puches has moved up to MX2. They are an incredibly dedicated team who strive day and night to deliver the absolute best for their guys. This is their story. This is the MX2 Bull KTM team.
First, well, it's been 18 months that have been pretty full of events, because we had a lot of moments up, a lot of moments down.
The best one, when Jeffrey gets champion in Loket 2 years ago, that was the best one, and actually the worst one was actually just on last race, just coming back, and then the finger again, and oh no, why?
I've been through hospitals in the last 2-3 years with him everywhere, I think, and you see him such a fighter, and he's impressive. Also last weekend, no tears, nothing, he was just angry on what happened, you know.
I hope he's back in action soon. I mean, Loket would be early, I would say, but you never know with the kid. He surprised us more than once. With Jeffrey, it started already last year when he had that accident, and then really tough winter when nobody knew if he will be in Qatar at the start or not, and luckily he made it, but just in time. On the other hand, we have a brand new bike, but we really missed the development time with Jeffrey over the winter, of course. We needed that time in October, November, December, when you really have more bikes and you have the ability to test, and that's where everybody was bailing out, let's say, because Jeffrey was out, Pauls was brand new.
In our team, we try always to welcome everybody from the youngest one to the oldest one in a very warm way. We didn't treat Paul like, yeah, you are new, Jeffrey is the star or whatever. You know, Paul is new, yeah, but we believe in his skills. We really like him. He's very mature compared to his age.
Paul's with the new kid that I've got this year. Yeah, just meeting someone new and sort of learn how he likes things, and yeah, progressing week to week, I would say.
The same was for David. David was our youngest rider and he was in European, but then when we decided all together to move him on MX2, I mean, he has the same treatment as the other two, but he's a lot of respect. Like Paul has a lot of respect for Jeffrey and David has a lot of respect for the other two.
3 years now with Jeffrey, and it's on the week, some SMS, phone calls. Jeffrey is actually quite quiet on that side. Good relationship, few SMS tells the all. No, I like that.
In the past, we had a lot of issues with Jeffrey, but he was very young, and of course he's normal in that age.
He's a wild kid, and if you competing at the age of 16 on top level, winning GPs already, I think you come to the point where you think you're unbeatable and you're the king of the world and I can do what I want. But that's where the team comes in a little bit and need to put out some rules, what maybe he didn't have before. But we gave him some rules, and yeah, he listens, not always, but he's getting better.
We talk the talk, that's for sure. But we don't really, we do our job and let our boys settle it on the track. I would say that, yeah, we talk it up to each other, yes, but it's not really a fisticuff rivalry or anything, it's more like a friendly one, yes. Would you agree?
Agree.
Yeah. You can't tell he's finished, can you?
No.
Not at all.
No.
It's every year a new challenge. If you have new kids, this year again we have Paul's, and he's riding over all expectations everybody had. Sometimes it's easy to come to the top because you have that goal to get there, but many companies achieved it and all, but then they fail. To stay on top is a harder step than to come there sometimes.
Robert Just, 95, ISF Logistic Motorsport.
Paul Jonas, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing Team, number 41.
It's about 70 metres down into turn 1, and it's a right-handed 180-degree turn. Normally quite a few pileups through there. Something to look out for on race day. Exit the turn, over 2 shallow rollers now. They've done away with the wave section. Exit turn 2, 90 degrees, up and over the first major jump on the circuit. Swinging round towards turn 3, a very fast left-handed turn that'll get very choppy through there. Then we hit the first Monster Energy tabletop jump, about 20 metres across the top. Through the next left, over 3 waves. Not possible to quite get over as a double-single combination. But then the straight opens out, eventually turning right into this 180-degree turn. We exit over the Ippon step-up, through the next left, and then down the back straight in front of what will be the main spectator area. A small double on the exit of the turn. 2 tabletops, the first one longer than the second one. And then as they land off of the tabletop, we turn uphill through the fast left, again through a series of waves. They will get very choppy and they will cup out as the weekend goes on. The highest part of the circuit, we turn left, drop down, over the Monster Energy step down, through the next fast right-hander, over what used to be the old finish line jump, the tabletop into this right-hander, but that's moved now. Instead, the finish line is out of this next left-hander. A short burst out of here, down the straight, over the Monster Energy finish line jump. More of a double than a tabletop. And then the riders continue to swing over this mogul on the right-hand side, at the back of pit lane, over a big roller into a 180 left. Exit there, over the jump in the opposite direction, again into another 180 right. Over the jump once more. We're a couple of corners from home now. Through this right-hander, 90 degrees. Over the step down. Then the penultimate turn is just here. A 90-degree right, past pit lane, and into the final corner. This is where they rejoin on the exit of turn 1, and that's a lap of Kegums. Anstey won the qualifying race on Saturday from Tim Geiser, and it was those two who charged into turn 1. The Slovenian looking to capitalise on Hurling's absence, but Geiser fell going into the first turn in a collision with Brian Borges. Up front it was Pauls Jonas, the Latvian, in front of his home crowd, who led the opening laps from David Puches, his teammate, Jeremy Seawer and Max Anstey, as Jens Getterman fell. Anstey, though, was on a charge. He passed Jeremy Seawer to move into third, and then went after the 85 of Puches. Jordi Tixier was in a battle with Ben Watson. Eventually, the defending champion went past on lap 5 to move into 6th place. Kevin Fors had no luck in race 1, as Anstey moved into 2nd, this time passing Puches. Then he went after Pauls Jonas, as Tim Geiser survived a few moments on his charge back through the field to eventually get into 7th by the time the checkered flag fell. All eyes were on this rider though, number 41 on the Red Bull KTM, Pauls Jonas, as Thomas Covington made a small mistake. He would eventually come home in 14th. Benoit Paturel and Brian Borges battled over 10th. It was the KTM rider that eventually won out that battle. As Valentin Guillot struggled in the sand conditions, eventually coming home in 12th. Max Anstey, with a handful of laps to go, found himself on the rear wheel of the KTM. And the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki rider utilised that outside line that was so successful in his transitions from 3rd to 2nd that it worked on Pauls Jonas as well. And Anstey led in the closing stages of the race. Tim Geiser made this pass in the closing stages on Brian Borges, and then another pass on Ben Watson got him into 7th position. And Harry Kulas, riding as a wild card on the Wilvo Nissan Husqvarna, had a great ride to come home in 5th, but it was Anstey who won race 1 from Jonas and Puches. Max Anstey charged down into turn 1. Hold a tight line through the inside, but it was neck and neck with the 92 of Valentin Guillot as they charged down into turn 2. Anstey grabbing the foxhole shot, but look how tight it was here. Anstey backed off on the entry into turn 2. Guillot ran wide. Anstey was through into the lead. But then Guillot made a mistake. He lost the front end through turn 3 and went down. The Yamaha rider picked himself up at the back, but a few corners later, he was down again. Max Anstey was a clear leader on his Kawasaki. David Puches was 2nd, his teammate behind him in 3rd, but Puches got it all wrong towards the end of the lap and remounted in 11th place. Tim Geiser started in 5th, made this pass on Jeremy Seawer to get into 4th, and he would advance no further in the race as Julian Lieber fell from 8th. Harry Kulas was having another good ride He started third and maintained that pace throughout the whole race. Paul Jonas was second behind Anstey, but could do nothing about the Kawasaki rider in race 2. And it was Anstey who charged to the line to take a double moto win ahead of Jonas and Harry Kulas. Geiser was 4th, Jeremy Seward was 5th, but Jonas getting a great reception from the crowd as he got 2nd at his home Grand Prix behind Anstey. Harry Kulas, his first ever podium, 3rd overall in MX2. But Hurlings continues to lead, Geiser 2nd, Gio 3rd. Jonas moves up to 4th after his race today. Join us after the break for more action in MXGP.
Before we move on to the first MXGP race, there's another story that needs to be told. That of the Wilvo Fork Rent KTM team and their ongoing quest to bring the fight to the factory teams. This is a saga of rude opportunities, unnerving injuries, but the ultimate desire to do what is right in racing. This is their season.
When I was a kid, I dreamed of racing GPs, and yeah, at that point didn't know it was going to happen, and it's gone fast quickly in the last couple of years, and it's perfect because the right stepping stones from the British and then to the European, and then being able to be with Steve and do MX2 next year is, yeah, it's a massive help.
He's had some great results, shows, you know, real class, but he's been a bit inconsistent. He's 18 years old, but he's got a real good head on his shoulders. He's an intelligent boy, he listens. What we're trying to do is get him ready to jump straight in MX2 and be competitive straight away.
Obviously Argentina my first GP, and yeah, I wanted to do well, and got an amazing start in the qualifying race, and yeah, went around the first turn, and Covington was on the inside, so I just thought, he's not having it, I'm having it. Went around the outside, and it was sort of an off-camera jump as you went over the other side. Jumped over that and just took the front end in the berm, and I was like 0 to hero in about 5 seconds.
A year without racing is torture. Very boring, tough mentally, but also physically, obviously, because it's down to an injury.
If a guy's injured, it's difficult for everybody. It's difficult for him, it's difficult for the team, it's difficult for the sponsors. But you know he's giving 100% to get fit again. And he's had a lot of bad luck over the last 2 years.
Knowing that I had you know, my bike and ride and the team waiting for me was obviously a good thing mentally. It was a bit disconcerting last year because when I got injured I didn't have a contract yet for next year, but luckily Steve sort of stuck by me.
He still gives 100% no matter what, no matter how much bad luck he's had. He has not stopped striving to get fit, and he wants to get back on that bike and do his best, and you can't ask for more than that.
After Sweden, on the way home, I sort of said, you know, I can take a lot away from that weekend, because the idea when I was going there was just to go there and get some speed back. Only on those sessions last weekend, I was like, straight away when I rode this week, I felt better on the bike. Race awareness, that's the main thing, is just being aware again. I can have a year off a bike and still go fast, but it's the racing, that's, you know, that's the hard part of our job.
We all started the season with a massive level of optimism, but it just didn't work out. And at the end of the day, we're not a factory team, and I think that's probably one of the biggest issues. And so it becomes about getting the motivation there for the rider, and there's only one person who can twist the throttle. I think I've learned you've got to get the right guy that's going to fit with the team, and there's, you know, culture differences and things like that matter, and we'll take that forward into the future, and hopefully he'll stand us in good stead in the future.
And for Steven Frossard, the Frenchman back in green this weekend with a point to prove, one way or another. Charging down into turn one, Romain Febvre, the man of the moment, was unlucky to get caught by Tommy Searle, and the championship leader fell. At turn one, taking with him Searle, Rattray, Philipparts and Guarnieri, and the Frenchman could not get the bike started. Cairoli made a good start in third. Gauthier Paulin was charging hard through the field on the opening lap to keep himself in contention with Cairoli, as Dean Ferris found his way up the inside of Boutron to get himself into fifth. Paulin, after 3 laps, ran alongside Cairoli, made this pass to move into third, and then went after the 2 Suzukis of Glenn Coldenhoff and Kevin Strybos. Frossard made a move on Charlier, who then fell from 7th, as Febvre continued to push on through the field. Sean Simpson ran into the back of Dean Ferris, and he fell out of 7th place and around lap 5, as Van Horbeek also, after a poor start, got himself up into 5th with that pass on Boutron. Romain Febvre found an easy route around the outside of the Russian Bobashev as he charged towards the front. And the Frenchman inside the points was suddenly looking good, keeping that healthy lead at the top of the championship table. Cairoli riding through the pain barrier since that arm injury in Maggiora. With all eyes on this battle for the lead, the 2 Suzukis, the rookie Glenn Coldenhoff, 259, fending off the challenge from his more senior stablemate at the factory team, Kevin Strybos. Towards the end of the race, Coldenhoff took one last look over his shoulder, and it was a win for the first time for Coldenhoff. Strybos was second, Paulin was third in race 1. His 8th place finish in race 1. Romain Febvre was looking for a better start. He got it, but once again it was the 259 Rockstar Energy Suzuki of Glenn Coldenhoff who took the foxhole shot. Cairoli was buried a little bit further back this time. So too was Dean Ferris, but it was Febvre from Coldenhoff through the first few turns. Cairoli ran alongside Sean Simpson as Tommy Searle got it completely wrong through the waves. The Red Bull KTM rider was sent crashing to the deck. Febvre led the charge though. Coldenhoff was second, Bobashev, Cairoli and Paulin rounding out the top 5 as Frossard and Nathan Watson duked it out. Frossard eventually going through into 10th. Van Horbeek made a mistake, fell from 7th and was pushed back to 15th, and would have a hard race finding his way back inside the top 10 to 9th. As Cairoli was in a battle with Paulin and Coldenhoff. Paulin though first had to find his way around his teammate Bobashev in what was a battle of the Hondas. Eventually this pass put him there into 4th as Rattray went out once more. Cairoli in 3rd was being pushed all the way by Gauthier Paulin. But just like he did in race 1, the Frenchman found his way down the inside of the Italian and moved into 3rd. After Cairoli made this mistake here in what was a very tight battle for 2nd position, the Frenchman then went after Glenn Coldenhoff who held his nerve and stood his ground to keep the Frenchman at bay and responded to the challenge from the HRC Honda rider. Romain Febvre was cool, calm and collected as he rounded out Moto number 2 with a win from Koldenhoff and Paulin, and it was Koldenhoff who took his first ever Grand Prix victory in MXGP. Paulin was second, Febvre was third, and Febvre extends his lead at the top of the championship table. Cairoli second, Paulin is now third, but can Glenn Koldenhoff do it again when we go to the Czech Republic for round 13?